Welcome back to the second installment of the Plants vs. Zombies Summoner Only Challenge. When we last left off, we had made it through all of ancient Egypt with largely only the Hypno Shroom Zoybean Pod duo, and we had just reached the halfway point on Pirate Seas when we came across the unavoidable obstacle of a sun requirement mission of day 13. We will need a sun producer plant in order to get past this mission, and fortunately Solar Sage is a sun producer that falls under the summoner definition. The only problem is, I don't have it unlocked yet, and I wasn't about to play EA's glorified slot machines in order to get it. Fortunately though, PvZ2 does have a way of letting you forcibly refresh seed packets to buy, and that is by renting the plant you want during a mission, and it will let you buy seeds for that plant at the end of it. You don't have to spend gems or coins to reroll either, as you can just restart the day, causing your rent plants to refresh, so I got to reroll.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it!
That clock keeps ticking like a metronome and my thoughts keep...
Though after several agonizing hours of grinding and also progressing several other plants that I could use, I finally had Solar Sage unlocked, and I could see if Solar Sage was even enough to get the sun requirement. And as it turns out, Solar Sage is a more than capable lone sun producer, letting the first one or two zombies make it all the way to the back lane before Solar Saging them, so they pop far more sun out. And that it spawns one sun whenever Solar Sage is first place was more than enough to make up the capital for the requirement. And now we were not only past the roadblock, but we now had an effective sun producer as well. Day 14 was another plan your defenses day, so we just did the Zoybean strategy again. I failed this the first time due to the barrel zombies. Fortunately, I didn't actually need to change my setup at all, and instead just plant food the Zoybeans before they showed up, and we got it the second time with the help of some lawnmowers. Day 15 was a don't let the zombies trample the flowers, but the game also gave me a free 3-peater. Ironically, it actually prevented me from Solar Sage farming the first zombie, but overall it was still pretty easy. Day 16 was to defend your plants for spring beans, but the mission was turned almost completely trivial by the fact that I was able to roll Turkey Pult again to deal with the barrel zombies by sniping them mid-roll. And day 17 was defeat 20 zombies in 30 seconds, also known as you'll either struggle with it for 20 minutes straight, or you won't even remember that this was the objective until you get to the end of the day and realize you already completed it.
I will see what I can do.
You have saved my kid.
We also got lucky with another Turkey Pult roll, and it was enough seeds to put us over, meaning Turkey Pult is the second plant to become a permanent member of the team. Day 18 is a pre-chosen plants, nobody cares. Day 19 is produce 1,750 sun, and don't let the zombies trample the flowers. I rolled Spore Shroom for this day too. You don't typically unlock Spore Shroom until Neon Mixtape Tour, however, I didn't hack the game or anything to get it, and it allows me to get it just by re-rolling rent plants, as well as buying seeds for it, therefore it's entirely fair game even this early on. Not that he largely affected the outcome of this day, though. Day 20 was produce 1,000 sun, and not only do we get it easy with Solar Sage, but the zombies had little to no opposition either. They didn't even bring a bucket head with them. Like, if I was Dr. Zomboss here, I would have the zombie in charge of this attack publicly executed for incompetence. Day 21 was produce 2,500 sun and kill 5 zombies in 5 seconds. So far, this was the largest sun production we had to do yet, but it still wasn't anything special. Also, we got another seed slot, which we don't really need, as we don't yet have access to 7 summoners anyway. Day 22, on the other hand, is where things get real.
What's the matter? Big shot.
Day 22 is a plan your defense mission, and normally that wouldn't be a problem, we would just Zoybean them and call it a day. However, our opponents are basically nothing but imp cannons this day, meaning it's an endless horde of imps. And alone that isn't an issue, as we have an endless horde of Soyjack zombies to instantly vaporize them. However, the issue once again comes from the fact that if an imp cannon isn't destroyed after a certain amount of time, it blasts several zombies randomly across the map, oftentimes deep into my defenses. This allows the imp to destroy some of my plants before they have a chance to respond. And if it was just 1 or 2 cannons, we could just let the lawnmowers or a Hypno Shroom deal with it. However, this entire wave, once again, is almost nothing but cannons, and so far the only plant that I have that can hit it is with a Turkey Pult. But since Turkey Pult's main damage factor isn't the projectile itself, but the turkey damage, its attack is almost completely negligent to it. However, you want to know what plant's attack isn't negligent to it? F***ing Spore Shroom.
Go! 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 That almost hit me!
Though ironically, Spore Shroom still wasn't enough to beat Day 22, as even though it not only can destroy the cannons, but also replicates itself, because there are simply too many cannons to deal with. It's kind of ironic that Zoybean and Spore Shroom didn't work well together here, as one of them excels at slaughtering imps and the other one excels at destroying cannons. Thus, we need another plan: Tiger Grass. Now, tiger grass is a very aggressive defensive plant that spawns a grass tiger when zombies are near it that get more powerful over time. The tiger can be eaten by zombies, and it often is, but will respawn as long as the tiger grass isn't destroyed. I think it will help out here, as on top of being defensive, it also has the capacity to absolutely shred entire swaths of zombies as long as the grass tiger stays alive. Therefore, it's exactly what we need here to complement Spore Shroom. The only problem is, I'm out of gems, and I'm barely halfway through the seed requirement, so you know what happens next. Oh, also, since I was doing this for so long, I also unlocked a few other plants, like Imp Pear, since it's technically a summoner. Since the imp it makes also isn't on my side, though, I don't know yet if I would run it as one. Plus, Imp Pear is a little bit overpowered anyways, so I likely won't use it in this challenge. I also won't be using Cauliflower, as it's too strong, even though it's under my definition of a summoner. And one more thing about future plant allowances. Do you guys think Witch Hazel would be a fun plant to add to this? I don't think we need her yet, but I do think it would make it interesting. So if the video's comment section has a rise in support for using Witch Hazel, I will buy her just for this challenge. But back to the task at hand, I did eventually get Tiger Grass, and I was finally able to use it in combination with Spore Shroom to beat day 22, though I do think Tiger Grass also probably could have just done this on its own. And the rest of Pirate Seas was nothing special. Day 23, 8 zombies in 10 seconds and no trampled flowers, pretty easy. Day 24, protect the beans for the second or third time. I couldn't be bothered to check which time it was. And day 25, give Zomboss testicular torsion, and just like that, we were done with Pirate Seas. The Wild West first days played pretty much how I assumed they would, and that is actually rather normally without much challenge. Since over half my plants are almost just as good short range as they are medium or long range, and plants like Spore Shroom outright duplicate themselves, I really didn't need to follow a defined strategy for the first several days of Wild West, simply because it was too easy with all my plants. A lot of this is largely due to Solar Sage 2, as without it I would not be able to front these more powerful plants in a timely manner, and thus I likely won't even have that much of a challenge until we get to chicken zombies. So, good job, Solar Sage. It was completely worthwhile to idle for multiple hours to get you.
Thank you. That looks mighty fine.
Yeah. Would you like some hat too?
And not too long.
Day 6 was a plan your defenses mission, and with Zoidbean supporting them, I honestly believe that Tiger Grass is equivalent to Pokra in potential, and in some cases even better than it, longevity-wise. Day 7, we were starting to get more of those armored zombies, which isn't too bad, because they take 6 Zoidbean zombies to kill, but only 4 if they're stacked, and plus, if they get too far back, I can just Solar Sage them and turn them into money. Day 8 was a conveyor belt mission, loud burping noises, call power commits insurance fraud. Day 9 was survive with the given plants, blah blah blah, Tomb Tangler cryptocurrency rug pull. Day 10, we were introduced to the chicken zombies. Now, chicken zombies aren't too bad, as pretty much every summoner has a response to them. Zoe Zombie shreds them faster than how regular zombies shred turkeys. Turkeys on their own can deal with them too, and Hypno Shroom turns chicken zombies without them ever even being consumed. Still though, if we aren't careful where we take them out at, they can quickly dash to the backlines and it will be imp cannons all over again before we know it. Day 11 was spend no more than 500 sun. Fortunately though, we have Spore Shroom, where I baited zombies into the back row before turning them into more Spore Shrooms, and the fact that Solar Sage costs nothing, this day was pretty easy. Day 12, another conveyor belt mission. Everybody just pretend I said something really horrible here, and then timestamp it in the comments. Day 13 introduced the miner, which is problematic, but only slightly, as we can put a Tiger Grass in the back to deal with it. However, a Tiger Grass can't really do much else in the back lane, still not too much of a problem yet. Day 14 was a whole horde of chicken zombies, but once again, Tiger Grass is able to slaughter entire swaths of them before they even get anywhere, and even more so since chickens only have like 1 health. Day 15, don't lose more than 2 plants, meaning we can't take Solar Sage with us, but Tiger Grass once again proves that it's one of the ultimate defense plants, vaporizing anything near it. Day 16 was a Protect Endangered Walnut, which was accompanied by a pretty hefty horde, but with Zoidbean, Turkey Pult, and Tiger Grass all attacking at once, the hordes were going down as soon as they perked up. Day 17 was to protect the zombies from trampling the flowers. I think the main gimmick of this one was supposed to be the bull zombie bucking itself over onto the flowers, but since my soybean zombies pretty much shred the bulls instantly, so quick before they even have a chance to buck the imp off, none of them really even came close. In Day 18, we finally come up on the big challenge for this world. And I was both very frustrated at this level, but at the same time I was also grateful that this was still actually a challenge, and all of Wild West wasn't just me throwing hordes of powerful plants up against waves with very little resistance. So far, there's been at least one of these hard missions on every world, so at least the challenge was still actually a challenge. As for what makes Day 18 so difficult, it is another plan your defense mission, so obviously my first response was to try the Soybean 300. However, that doesn't work here for two reasons. First, the chicken zombies come in the first wave, meaning unless the chicken zombie is popped immediately when I have the Zoiba zombies up, they will instantly take out the pod. And this applies most enthusiastically to turkey pults and spore shroom too. And if it just stopped there, I would have to just get used to tiger grass and call it a day. However, there are also minor zombies in the attack, and tiger grass can't be everywhere at once, meaning even if I place it in the back where it can pick off the miners and defend from the chickens, it can't defend from both of them at once, and protect itself at the same time, meaning once again we'll lose. I tried even using hypno shrooms on the mine carts to instantly deal with the chicken zombies, but once again to no avail. I did eventually get through this day, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little embarrassed at what the solution was, as in hindsight it seems kind of obvious that I would just use one row of tiger grass to instantly vaporize the chickens and miners before they have a chance to jump, and have another row behind them to defend, but whatever, it's done. Day 19 was a little sweaty, as it's a don't lose more than 2 plants and don't spend more than 2,000 sun, though fortunately those two goals kind of go hand in hand for me, and I've nailed down that tiger grass is going to be my universal constant for defense plays up until I get guard shroom. Day 20 was a conveyor belt mission that makes me procrastinate writing a joke fun fact for it. I'll finish writing it later. Day 21, don't spend more than 1,750 sun, and don't let zombies trample the flowers. Another decent match, but largely Spore Shroom helps with the spending issues, as his main attack really renders the sun requirement irrelevant. Day 22, another given plants mission, don't ask who Candace is. Day 23, don't lose more than 2 plants, and don't trample the flowers. Once again, not a very difficult mission, since we have the help of tiger grass, and the soybean carts let me spread their greatness to every lane. Day 24 is protecting 3 walnuts, and just like the last walnut defense, a rather large horde accompanied them. However, this time the turkey pult soybean combo worked just as well, once again stopping the bulls from even having a chance to buck over anything. We then committed Oregon Trail on Dr. Zombas, and we were done with the Wild West. Before we made it to Frostbite Caves, I had been grinding mints, and by first mission I had enough to buy the Enchantment. Now, Enchantment itself is only alright. It hypnotizes anywhere from 1 to 3 zombies randomly, costs 0 sun, and has a really long wait time. However, when combined with other Enchantment family plants, most notably Soybean Pod, it can power them up. And needless to say, having Soybean zombies, which are already stronger than average zombies, having their own variants of the bucket heads allow me to basically wipe an entire lane, so long as they don't have something like a barrel zombie. This plan is great synergy, and it will let me beat Frostbite Caves without a doubt, as we were dealing with Neanderthals here. A solid low A-tier pawn xenotype, objectively speaking. And thus, before the frost really picks up, we were able to punch through the first 4 days, with Day 5 being a conveyor belt mission, where Crazy Dave breaks it down for us. However, Day 6 is the next really interesting gimmick for a level where most of my plants are already chosen for me, meaning I still have some slots left to choose only summoners. And thus, since it is possible for me to run only summoners on this mission, it 100% counts. And I took Solar Sage and Tiger Grass. Solar Sage being a no-brainer for Sun, and Tiger Grass being great all-around defense, and also good at busting ice. And since my Sun production keeps up with the Tiger Grass's fast seed refresh, I was once again able to bust right through it. By Day 7, my main strategy for Frostbite Caves so far is planting my main plants 2 or 3 lanes away from the lawnmowers, so I can over time place Tiger Grass or Soybean pods to bust them, as Zoy zombies don't even get cold. We also are implementing in hit and run tactics for the Hunter Zombie's Snowball Thrower, dealing with them as fast as possible with either Tiger Grass or a Hypno Shroom. And Day 8 was a conveyor belt mission.
No, it's meow mix. Try again.
Day 9, we had our strategy down solid. With the Enchantment Soybean Pod combo, we could just plant food spam refresh it, meaning we can have an endless horde of Soybean melon heads as long as we kept them unfrozen and had plant food. As a matter of fact, this combo once again even seemed a little overpowered for me, and I considered banning Enchantment, or at least banning auto-refreshing it, because I was already punching through these stages pretty well. but with day 10 being another conveyor belt mission, I decided to call this episode here. With things looking much better than it did in the first episode, I was now optimistic that I could very well beat this entire challenge completely legit. But if you enjoyed this episode and or want to see more from me, both Plants vs. Zombies or other games, leave me a comment down below, as well as subscribe with notifications as I upload new long-form videos every week, and new shorts every single day, both encapsulating variety content such as challenges, guides, memes, audience participation, playthroughs, and even theories. But with that being said, thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.